So we got the first injury report in preparation for the South Carolina game. So, of course, we got to talk about who popped up on that bad boy and if there's any concern for the Sooners. Let's dive into it and take a look at it. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. They are pulling up to the channel. It's the Hog Media production presented by Sleeper. If you're not using it for daily fantasy football, you're missing out. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They're going to match your first deposit up to $100 at 100%, plus give you $20 just for signing up. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. So let's just jump right into it, guys. The first availability report has dropped for Oklahoma and South Carolina, and I'm going to be honest, looks pretty positive for the Sooners, and let me explain to you why. So here it is. Oklahoma right now, of course, out. Troy Everett, who's done for the year, he injured his other leg, opposite of the one that he hurt before in the spring of last season. So I don't expect to see him at all this coming season. Sexton is still down, and Jake Taylor. So I kind of expect all three to be gone for the year. But Keontae Lewis is on the doubtful list, which is kind of questioning. We'll talk about that a little bit later, so stick around. We'll talk about that on the end. K. McIntyre, who's been dealing with some stuff, he's still doubtful. Logan Howland has moved to doubtful. He was out for Red River, but now he's doubtful for South Carolina game. And there's a possibility that could be improved based upon his health, which will be a very good backup to have. And Javonte Barnes has moved to questionable. So for the uninitiated, if you don't know, we talked about this on the last video about the running backs. And Brent Venables mentioned that Barnes had a kind of a short-term hammy situation during warmups. So he pulled something. So that's why you didn't see him in the Texas game, which, makes sense as to why he wouldn't play in that game. But that's the reason why you didn't see him in the game. So to me, that jumped out. Now, of course, South Carolina's got some folks. They've got offensive linemen. It's still been down. They've been dealing with injuries on their line like crazy. Gabriel Brownlow-Dendy is interesting to see at the questionable level. He was a Oklahoma, recruit, and he is a Oklahoma legacy too, which is even more interesting. Played Texas A&M, transferred to South Carolina. But what jumped out the most about this is there's a name that's missing. For the uninitiated, the one that is missing is Derek Simmons, the right tackle that got hurt during the Texas game. He hurt his ankle. He's not even listed. So it appears that whatever happened to him in that Oklahoma game, in that Texas game in Red River, wasn't as serious as we anticipated. So that is huge. So you get your entire offensive line back. You continue with continuity, and prayerfully, you start to see them improve week over week because everybody is back. To me, that's a big deal. Like, I know a lot of you, it probably isn't. You're probably saying, well, the line hasn't been very good. Totally understand that. But the one thing we all have to understand is continuity and chemistry in the offensive line is critical. Now we just need them to get nasty, get them to get mean, and start pushing people around. And the fact that Derek Simmons is back, in which he did a really good job of protecting for John Mateer on the right side, that to me gives me some more confidence going into this game against South Carolina. We are at Wednesday night, which is typically when they do good on Tuesday and Wednesday. If he's ready to play, we're in a good situation. That to me warms my heart and gets me excited because, we kind of really need him in a way. Like, I know that some of us don't believe we need him like that. I think we do. Continuity on offensive line is critical to the line improving over time. Swapping dudes inside, in and out constantly does not help your line. It doesn't help your play, and it usually doesn't lead to success. So I'm pretty stoked to see that. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. When I looked at that, that got me excited. So let me talk about why the Javonte Barnes piece is a little interesting, on top of why I believe that having not only Derek Simmons back, but having this offensive line be more intact with Logan Howland being there. Let me explain to y'all what's important. But first, shout out to our partners over at Sleeper. Shout out to our partners over there at Sleeper. If you're not checking them out for daily fantasy football, you're missing out. They're going to hook y'all up. They're going to give you $20 just for signing up. by using our promo code UNFAIR. And they're going to also match you at 100% up to $100 if you decide to make a deposit. But if you want to test them out, you can. And so look at some of these picks real quick. I've been playing around for the evening or whatnot. Let's look at college football, of course, for the weekend. I'm going to get some weekend picks. Actually, let's move this. You can actually sort this out, which is pretty cool. They make it really easy to get going. So we can pick here. We can sort this just to the SEC. And I'm going to take John Mateer right here for more than 235 yards. I think Diego Pavia does not pass for more than 200 yards against LSU, but I think he runs like crazy. And then give me Bernard versus Tennessee. Oh, yeah, both defenses give up yards. And I think we can hold Lenore Sellers to just under 50 yards rushing, but I think he gets more than 29, so we'll do that. Two or more or less. Caden Durham has been, we'll go more. And you can win up to 1,000 times your money just by, making these picks. So check them out. Use our promo code UNFAIR, and they're going to match your first deposit up at 100% up to $100. And they're going to give you $20 just for signing up. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleepers Terms of Use for details. So looking at this, Keontae was interesting. That's what I want to talk about first. I'm going to talk about Barnes a bit more in the running back room. But Keontae being on there, it kind of feels like it's a precautionary piece. He played in Red River literally a week after that very scary hit that he took against Kent State. And the wondering was, okay, why would he be on there? I'm wondering if they're keeping him in a precautionary situation because of what happened there. And then playing in Texas, taking some hits there, that they're like, all right, let's make sure we take our time with him. And just in case, he'll need to practice, make sure he's good going into it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with the Keontae Lewis pieces being doubtful. Now, granted, that does not mean that tomorrow evening when I make another video that he's out. If he's listed as out, that means that there's something else more going on, and they're just like, hey, we're pulling the kid out because we want to make sure that he is 100% good to go. And I don't argue with it. If there's one thing you won't see your boy argue about is them saying, nah, we're going to go ahead and wait on Keontae. But I didn't expect him. I expected him to play, but I'm not hurt that he's on the doubtful list. That's not a bad thing. Now, with Logan Howland sitting there in the doubtful piece, that gives me hope that we can start getting a little bit deeper on the offensive line because we're dealing with injuries like crazy in the tackle spot. That is literally where I think we've seen more and more of our injuries. And to me, that's a little bit on the terrifying side because we have been dealing with a lot of injuries on the offensive line. We need more healthy dudes desperately. And we need to start getting mean and really go out there and push people around. And we've seen that as the game's progressed. Like I know a lot of you jumped in the comments of DeMarco Murray's got to go, Bill Beatonbow needs to go, right? Joe John Finley. Like, you want everybody fired on the offensive side, and you want Ben Arbuckle to bring in some new people. I totally get the frustration. I get the sentiment. But let's think about this, right? The one thing I will give and the only thing I'll give a pass on for Bill Beatonbow is there's only certain players that this team is paid for. Like we got Fasusi, right? Like you've seen us spend on certain offensive linemen and Fogier. And going back a little bit more, Guyton. There's certain players that we need to go ahead and spend on, and this staff is recognizing it. And that's why you're starting to see a difference in the offensive line recruiting. I mean, you get Fogier as well as a Fasusi because they're like, no, we're going to play you probably pretty early because we think that you can outdo the current starters. Granted, here you are. EPL, you paid for him. And you just need to get him going. Ozida, you paid for him. And so now we just need to get these dudes to get more mean and do more pushing on the line, and which I expected. I'm in a different boat as y'all. I still have a little bit of faith that we're going to make something happen. But I like seeing Howland sitting there in the doubtful space that there's a potential he could come back. Because he was really good in camp, and he was solid when he played this year until he got hurt again. Our problem is we've been snake bitten on that offensive line like crazy. We're still dealing with injuries. I just need somebody to get healthy so that we can move forward. So, all right, let me know what y'all think. Hop in these comments. Definitely want to hear your thoughts. All right, injury reports in. I got a video I'm going to drop tomorrow. Paul Feinbaum had things to say about the Sooners, which was right after the Texas game. got your boy's attention. I've recorded it. I haven't put it out yet because a lot of stuff has dropped over the last couple days, so I didn't want to flood too much. But we'll drop that video tomorrow in the morning on Feinbaum's thoughts around the Sooner. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and bell notification so you don't miss that. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the channel. Support us. Use our promo code UNFAIR. You can get a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they give you $20 just for signing up. Use our code. And yeah, take care of the people. Chop it up soon. Peace.